Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I wanted to take off the gloves a little bit and I wanted to make some controversial statements. They might be controversial, they might not be controversial, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways because I feel it's necessary to be said, for these things to be spoken out there in the community. So there's this talk that the Division 2 is dying right now. And it's stuff like this that kind of, it kind of crawls under my skin. And, honestly, that claim might be true. In all reality, that might be actually the truth, that the division game might be dying. The only problem is no one has the data to support this. Now, where are the numbers? The Division 2 is not available on Steam. Epic Games does not, have any way for us to be able to get any kind of user data. Sony's not going to release that data to you. Xbox or Microsoft's not going to release the data of player counts. And so where are we going to find this data that we used to know that the game is dying? Now, no one has that number that I know of. And if there's any way that we can even say we sense it, it could be that the player counts are dropping. And that might be the truth. But you cannot infer on numbers that you have no idea or concept of where they are from. I mean, this is not, I'm a trained scientist. I went to university and they taught me science. And you got to have evidence. Even in other fields, in academia or in just normal logical life even, you got to have evidence when you make a claim. So if you say something like, "Oh my goodness, there's a lion in that street," you've got to have you got to have a claim. Especially in 2019, there has to be some level of evidence that proves it. And I can understand that sometimes the player sentiment in the division community can go really awry, and it's easy to infer some of these things. But just to be very honest, to the contrary, the Division 2 seems to have people still actively playing the game, regardless of the issues, regardless of the concerns. There are people playing the game. As I'm recording this video, you're probably hearing beeps. These are beeps from my Discord channel for people trying to matchmake. I don't even go on the Discord much, except with some of the guys that are willing to play with me. I mean, there are like 400 people on the Discord, and they couldn't care less who owns the Discord. They just use it for matchmaking and stuff, and that's fine. I have like about 5-6 guys that are happy to jump in the Discord server with me, and that's okay too. But there are constantly people and just this very tiny, and this is just a pin drop compared to other forums, other Discord servers, other clans that are involved in playing the game. So yes, player sentiment is probably right now very negative. I'm not trying to put that I'm not trying to throw that away. I'm not trying to put that aside. Yes, there is a lot of dissatisfaction in the community right now, and that is normal. When you have human beings in a place, when you have people with differing views, and when you have expectations that were not met, you're going to see this show up in every community. And so that's where we are. And so thinking about all of this, the developers have to fix the issues that are wrong with this game, and I think they will. I'm not saying it in like a positive way. I'm just saying in the sense that they better, because it is this experience that people are going to use to judge them as a development studio / publisher down the road. It's a relationship. They're putting, or they have to put some kind of foot forward. Maybe it's a good foot, maybe it's a bad foot, or their best foot. They got to put it forward because down the road, they are in the business of making games. They're going to be making more games. And if people don't have a good impression with this current game, they're going to carry that same sentiment to when they see another game that's coming from this, set of developers and this set of, and their marketing maybe down the future. You never know. Maybe in the next 5-6 years, there's somebody who wants to play a game or something, and they find out that, the people behind it are the people that were behind Division 1 and Division 2, and they're going to steer clear, which is a loss on the part of Massive or Ubisoft, and also might even be a loss to the gamer themselves, because they might actually genuinely put out a polished, well-made game, which they've gathered experience from all the issues and all the stress and the mistakes that they've learned from Division 1 and 2, and then they use that experience to make a wonderful game, and then the gamers that have that same sentiment miss out on such a wonderful product. So either way, they have to respond to the community and just go out there and say, hey, this is what we're doing. They have to probably up their transparency game and do that for everybody. Another thing too is there are people who are saying, there's just nothing to grind for. So right now I feel like I'm a little bored, and I think that's normal, because right now, yes, we had one more specialization. There's a huge grind if you didn't have the season pass. In fact, I'm not even doing the grind for the rewards that are with it. I have the season pass, so I'm just going straight to level it up. And even to level it up sometimes can be a chore, because I would rather just play another game, which would give me much more fun right now. But in making content, you have to be engaged with the game. So I just, I continue to play. There are aspects of the game that I like, actually, but the leveling things up by doing those missions, I'm not really a big fan of them. On the other hand, when it comes to bounties and looking for items and looking for ways to, sort loot and do in-game economy, I really enjoy that stuff. So I go in there just to manage resources, and that's fun for me in the Division. I would just log in sometimes and spend like an hour, 2 hours just managing items. That's the fun part of it. That's probably a lot of my aspect of the game. And so I probably don't feel that sense of boredom when it comes to playing. And I think right now the reason we're in a dry swing is because the developers actually have a pattern where they release items, where they release content in the game. And I've noticed this from the Division 1, and I think this pattern is from the aspect of trying to compete with other gaming studios. And here is what I think. I think they're planning to drop their content at the same time that other players that play the Division 2 and other games are probably going to be expecting content from these other games. And so let me give you guys an example. One of them just happened just quite recently. And just recently, they dropped the Title Update 4 update at the same time, the same day, in fact, that Mortal Kombat 11 was releasing the early access DLC for Shang Tsung, for the character. And I genuinely think the developers are going to continue this pattern, maybe not just following only Mortal Kombat, but there's most likely going to be another game that's releasing something when a big update comes out. So even for those who are saying we're going to move on to Borderlands 3 when it comes out, or Ghost Recon Breakpoint, just be aware that you're about to see some really cool content from Massive when it comes down to it, because they're ready to compete. This is a business ideology. I mean, they're there for the sake of business, and they're there for making money. So they have to keep their game relevant, because that's how they're going to be able to compete in the market. That's how they're going to be able to pay salaries. So when you think about that driving force, then you know that the content is going to definitely be dropping, and that content better be dropping with player concerns being answered at the same time. So I think right now they're just in that phase where they're in hibernation, but it's what I call like a quiet phase. Usually Massive they go quiet in long phases. That kind of confuses the community, but I've been following the studio very closely. I actually like them. I feel like even though there's a love-hate relationship between this developing team and their community, it's always been like that anyways, and they come out to do what they feel like benefits them, and in some sense they also come out, which pretty much is what benefits us, benefits them, and I think they just need to keep doing more of that. So right now, with the player sentiment, however you may feel as a player of the Division 2, you have the right to feel that way. You have the right to say you don't want to play the game anymore. You have the right to sell the game. You have the right to say that the game makes you upset, and that's fine. But you don't have the right to say that the game is dying without any evidence to that. And that's just it. That is just the reality. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm just trying to say we need to be measured in the way we actually put things out there. Sure, the game has its concerns. The RNG right now, somehow, I'm getting some really weird skill power drops. I think they actually added that in the last update, and I'm not worried. I hoard everything anyway, so I have all my really cool items at gear score 498, 499, 500. But it's really peculiar that the loot drops have changed to skill-based items at a higher rate, by the way, and I have video evidence for it. And skills are really not so relevant for a lot of people right now. So whatever they want to do, I just like managing items anyway. So I'll just go in there and sort out stuff and do what I feel like I want to do, which is necessary. And then furthermore, as a content creator, even though I played the Division 2, I'm still currently playing another game. I play Mortal Kombat, and I'm teaching myself, to get better at a fighting game, which is a very difficult task. And that's keeping my mind off of having to just feel bored with the Division 2 or feel like it's a chore. And I like discussing the Division 2 issues. So most of my videos are going to be like this. They're going to be discussion videos because I have the passion to talk about the game. I have my entire YouTube channel created around it. So don't feel like you're handcuffed to the Division 2. feel free to enjoy other games and feel free to put it aside. And even if you want to sell it or burn it or whatever, it's your money, it's your game, it's your experience, it's your time. I respect that. I made a video defending people who wanted to play Anthem. Okay, so do whatever you want to do, but whenever you're going to make a claim in the community, make sure you have your evidence and have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. So that's all I wanted to say as a content creator and as a member of the community and as somebody who genuinely cares about the game. I don't want to trash anybody. I don't really care for that. I just feel like we just need to put our expectations where they are. If you feel like your expectations have not been met as a gamer, then you have the right to express that. Definitely so. And people will listen, you know? And so that's all I have. Thank you guys very much for your time and your audience. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys have been able to put up with me all this while. And we know we're just in a downswing in the division right now. Before you know, content's going to start dropping because they have to compete with all these other gaming companies all over the place. And so we're waiting it out. If I find anything relevant I want to talk about, I'll share it with you guys. You guys know how I roll. So in all, thank you very much. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.